if it's Memphis, I can't actually get out of my seat. You know what I mean? If it's Memphis, I just kind of stay in my seat. It's like showing up to the gym. You know, they say there's a certain amount of times you're trying to hit the gym up in a certain week. Not every workout's the same. What's going on, Laker fans? Appreciate you guys tuning in. All right, another W. Back-to-back games for the Lakers. Critical game against Memphis for a lot of different reasons, but really just to kind of continue to build momentum. Lakers handle business, 136 to 124, the final score. Got a lot I want to get into tonight. This should be a fun show tonight. I think the fact that it was a great follow-up win, I want to spend some time on that. I want to talk about Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, everything that these three guys have been able to do over the last couple of days. So we'll spend some time on them. AD misses the game. LeBron comes in and just gives a triple-double. I thought it was interesting the last 2 days. AD had LeBron rest a game and still handled business. And then LeBron does the same thing for LeBron or for Anthony Davis tonight. And then I got a couple NBA stories I want to get into as well. Preview the Lakers and the Indiana Pacers, and then we're going to get the hell out of here, okay? Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you to Underdog Fantasy, who's a proud partner of the show. If you guys have yet to subscribe to the channel, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, thank you for doing so. I appreciate it. All right, let's get started. 136-124, the final score. I think the best way that I can put this is a really good follow-up win for the Lakers. It's a really good follow-up win for the Lakers. Talking to Michael during the pregame show, and I don't think, neither of us were concerned that the Lakers would win the game, but, you don't have Anthony Davis. You don't want to get into some kind of dogfight. You didn't want to have a game in the fourth quarter where you felt like the game was actually in jeopardy. You just wanted to comfortably win the game. What was the biggest lead I think the Lakers had? Was 22, I want to say. Or no, 25 was the biggest lead that they had. Not crazy that in about a 5-6 minute span, Memphis got it all the way down to 7. But the Lakers, kind of the start of that fourth quarter, hit a couple three-pointers. Things got a little bit more comfortable. And then you felt like, all right, this game is over. The Lakers were wrapping up this game. But there was a lot going on from yesterday to today. I mean, think about how big of a win that was for the Lakers yesterday, how they won it, the competition that they were facing, the fact that, Anthony Davis had to play 52 minutes, D'Angelo Russell had to play 50, Austin Reeves had to play 48. They got in. I was asking Michael, Michael and John, who are obviously doing the broadcast, they're on the team playing. So I think they got in 1:30, 2 a.m. in Memphis. There wasn't all that much time to rest and then get ready. So if there was a little bit of concern on the actual game of, all right, are the Lakers going to be fresh enough to just handle business? Now, here's the fortunate thing. It's not like the second of a back-to-back was against Sacramento or against Oklahoma City Thunder or Houston, a young team that wants to run up and down, not necessarily Houston. But at least the matchup was the Memphis Grizzlies. But let's give them some credit. That's 5 in a row for the Lakers. That, like I said, I think the best way for me to describe it is what were they going to look like coming into this game, and I thought they looked good. Really, really nice follow-up win for the Lakers. They handled business. So before I even get into any details of the game, I think that part is important to just point out. Lakers came to play tonight. They took care of business, and now you're 2-0 to start this road trip. Okay, now let's get into actual details of the game, 136 to 124. How about Rui Hachimura? How good was Rui Hachimura tonight? Rui has, and I've talked about this before, and I think, a lot of people understand what I'm referring to. Rui's got arguably one of the best NBA bodies out there as far as he's got the perfect balance of he's got strength, he's got athleticism, he's got height, he's got a great wingspan. It's like, damn, the foundation of what he's got is perfect. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to be perfect every night. There's going to be some nights, even though I swear, every time I look at this guy's box score, he's shooting plus 50% from the field. Rui tonight, 11 of 14 from the field and 7 of 8 from the three-point line, finishes with 32 points and 10 rebounds. That's an incredible night for Rui Hachimura. And this is without Anthony Davis. So If I just said Anthony Davis played in this game, if I took Rui's name out and I put Anthony Davis there, and you saw 32 and 10, it's like, oh yeah, that's Anthony Davis. That's what he does. Except AD didn't play and Rui stepped in. 32 and 10. That's a fantastic night. He looked great tonight too. 11 of 14 from the field. He had 7 threes, 7 of 8. I heard Trudell talking to him post game. Trudell was spending some time with him in the post game, and Trudell was kind of hitting more on the fact that I think it had more to do with, look what you've been doing just in Memphis. You had 2 games in Memphis. I was trying to think here. Was this regular season or there's 2 playoff games that he had, game 1 and game 2 last year, how great he was. Think about how good he was for that stretch. And then, obviously tonight doing what he did against the Memphis Grizzlies. I thought Rui was awesome. 32 and 10. Okay, let me keep going on a couple of the other players, but Rui's the first one. I'm going to start lumping a lot of these dudes together because I think it is interesting that as you're watching the Lakers play right now, really what you're watching is D'Angelo Russell playing great basketball for a very long stretch. Austin Reeves has been really good now for a good stretch as well. And then Rui obviously did what he did. Could I just point out the minutes that Rui, D'Lo, and Austin Reeves have played over the last 2 nights? So last night, you had, let me find this real quick. Last night, Rui played 39 minutes. D'Lo played 50, and Austin Reeves played 48. Tonight, you had those 3 guys. Rui followed it up with 36 minutes. D'Angelo Russell played 29. Austin Reeves played 35. I almost want to put all these guys together because I feel like all 3 of these guys are finding different ways to help the Lakers win. D'Angelo, 23 and 4 tonight. Hit 5 threes for the Lakers. Had kind of a stretch. This is what he does. He just hits very timely threes. But anyways, 23 and 4. Austin Reeves probably didn't shoot the best. 4 of 12, 0 for 4 from the 3-point line, but he had 11 assists. And again, these 3 guys have been the catalyst these last couple of days of saying, okay, LeBron's going to get a day off there. I got to deliver. AD's going to get a day off there. I got to deliver. So all 3 of those guys I thought did a good job. Nice minutes from Taurean Prince as well. Taurean Prince has some interesting quotes post-game. I'm going to see if I could find the actual quotes, but I was listening to it, and he had a lot of – try to find this here. Just want to see if I can see it. Basically, let's just say this. He was very confident of the Lakers' position. He kind of kept emphasizing, like, look, we got a lot of vets on this team. This team's going to be fine. After that in-season tournament, we had a little bit of turmoil, but the team is doing just fine. So Taurean Prince had his contributions, 15. And last player that I want to mention individually before I get into LeBron, Spencer Dinwiddie is starting to find a little bit of a groove for the Lakers. He is. It started, I want to say, first off, he's been playing good enough on the defensive side to justify some minutes, but they didn't get him just for defense. I mean, part of the reason I think why they got him, they need another scoring punch. They want a guard coming off the bench that can be ready to go. He had that Pacers game on Sunday where it was the 25, 26, whatever he had. Yesterday, he really didn't have a good game, even though he played big minutes. Did hit a big 3 in overtime, but tonight he followed up another nice game for Dinwiddie. 4 of 7, hit 3 threes, ended up with 14 points and 7 rebounds. I'll take that all day for Spencer Dinwiddie. So those are just some of the individual players that delivered tonight. But I go back to the theme of what I said in the beginning. Rui, Reeves, and D'Lo all putting in crazy minutes, making it happen. Some nights one guy shines over the other, but most nights it's 2 of those 3 players I feel like are delivering on a night-in, night-out basis, or in some cases, all 3 on any given night. Okay. That's a lot of talking, Al. Jesus. How much are you going to talk, bro? I think this hat's on 5 in a row. I could be wrong, but I think it's on 5 in a row. Some of these others have terrible losing streaks, but we're going to keep this one just as is because I believe it's at 5 in a row. Okay, let me look at some of the comments here. Let's get into some of these comments here. And then I got LeBron that I want to get into. I know people are upset at the Denver Nuggets. I get it. We'll talk about that tomorrow. All All right, let's keep going here. Yeah, right out the gate. Nuggets are not trying to help the Lakers. Only drama left is Warriors or the Rockets. I don't know about that. I still think there's some other drama left. We'll get into that in a little bit. All right, let me read a couple of these comments here. All right, Brandon. Brandon, a good example here. Super chat is open. If you'd like to send a super, 100% going to read it. If you want to just send a regular comment, that's completely fine too. I'm going to do my best to try to get to them either way. 100% will read any supers that you guys send in. Brandon, Christie needs all of Cam's minutes. He gives us nothing offensively. Also, wouldn't mind if and when Gabe comes back to take Cam's 10 to 15 minutes. To be honest, I'm over Cam. Cam, this guy's coming back from an injury. Literally was out, in and out of the lineup because of an ankle issue. I'm not as opposed to Cam Reddish as you may be, because I want Cam to get a little bit more time to kind of figure some stuff out. But he just came back. Cam Reddish had a point in the season where he was an asset and he was of value. There's going to come a time where I think we're going to have a game where it's like, hey, Cam Reddish played really good tonight, or Cam was good on the defensive side and they needed it. Here's the good news with the Lakers, the situation that they're in is you got Dinwiddie now, so that obviously is big. I don't want to depend on Gabe Vincent. I don't want to depend on Jared Vanderbilt just because I haven't seen these guys in forever. Gabe Vincent, I've only seen 5 games this year, so it's tough to depend on that at all. Appreciate the super, brother. That offense at the end of the third quarter is pretty bad. Francis Mendoza. Francis, it's not going to be a perfect game, but they're good tonight. Last night was a long game. Last night was double overtime. You didn't have Anthony Davis tonight. They put up 136 points. To be honest with you, I don't have too much to bitch about tonight. I don't. And like I said, I know they were up 22 and it went all the way down to 7. That's not ideal, but for the most part, they were in control of this game. Even when it went down to 7, they hit a couple threes like that and was back up to 13. So I wasn't as concerned. I wasn't as concerned about that. All right, let's get some more comments here. Let's see what we got here. Would have loved to see the starters sit the whole fourth quarter. You're crazy. We got Rui for 3 years. Hey, I've said this from the beginning. Rui is always the one that I was always like, all right, well, that dude's going to have to play up to his contract because he's getting 17 a year. He's getting paid more a year than Austin Reeves. And really all he kind of had done was the playoff run. But his regular numbers, they're not, over his career, they're not crazy, right? So 17 a year was healthy for Rui. Okay, Rui, now you got to go make it happen. And he's had some moments. There's been some times where I've been critical of him this year. I've had a couple people say I'm not giving him enough credit. So I think people are noticing what he's doing. More of these comments here. And I want to talk about LeBron. 5 in a row for the Lakers, longest win streak of the year. Got some other people here talking about a 6-0 road trip. How about this? How about forget a 6-0 road trip? How about go see what you can do against Indiana? That's a tough game on Friday. Indiana got blown out today by the Chicago Bulls. I don't know what happened there. We'll talk about that game coming up a little bit later. But I get the whole 6-0, and let's just look at how about start off 3-0? I mean, if they beat Indiana, they've already won their 2 toughest games. And the final 3 games that they're going to have are all teams that are not good at all. Brooklyn's not good, even though they beat the Lakers at Crypto back in the day. Brooklyn, who's the other one? Toronto and Washington. But Indiana's going to be a tough game. Speaking of tough games, SDSU, tough game tomorrow. It's a tough game tomorrow. Freaking UConn. Can't stand UConn. Every time SDSU gets far, it's freaking UConn. All right, but you know what? You got to go through the best anyways. So what does it matter? Do it in the Sweet 16. Do it. It's just got to go through them anyways. Just get through them. All right, let's keep going here. I don't think Cam, Max, or Hayes. Okay, we'll come back here. Let me talk LeBron triple double real quick. So keep the comments coming. This is quick recommendation here on some of the comments here. If you guys got something that you think will spark a conversation, or if you have a question, it hits on a topic maybe that we haven't talked about, make sure you throw it in the comments, and then I'll do my best. If I can see it and I feel like it's a good topic, I'll run with it a little bit. So LeBron tonight didn't play yesterday. I got to find his quote real quick because I know he said some stuff after the game. I'll have to find those real quick, and if Sammy can find them, that would be great. I'll read this from Dave. And we can actually listen together. I'll play it together. So LeBron triple-double. This is what LeBron ends up with. 35 minutes of play, 23 points, 14 rebounds, 12 assists, plus 33. By the way, Rui was plus 35, and Austin Reeves was plus 31. That's insane that those three guys obviously shows when they're playing together how productive they all were together. But LeBron didn't play in that last game. Got an extra day rest for his ankle. 23 points, 14 rebounds, and 12 assists. Let me actually, there's some sound here. Let's hear this together because I haven't heard it either. But let me share my screen and let's take a quick listen to what LeBron said after the game. I think this is specifically about his ankle. So, got that.
Just be very strategic on what obviously games and how many days in between games and flights and things of that nature. Obviously, understanding and seeing how my ankle and my foot is feeling, but just being very smart about it. Obviously, we are where we are, but our health has always been the most important for our ball club. And I just one individual, but for me, looking out for myself when it comes to injury and knowing my foot and knowing my ankle and things, how it reacts and how it's been over the last couple of years. So, just always, keeping a healthy eye on it.
Does the allure of moving up in the standings at all impact the way you view how you're going to manage your ankle?
I would have probably tried to play yesterday if that was the case. I got to be smart with it. It doesn't. If I'm not, healthy or any close to being healthy, then it's not good for our ball club anyways. It's not good for me.
All right, that's LeBron right there. So that's interesting. That's kind of an interesting quote right there. It's interesting to kind of hear him. I like what he said. They're asking about how much of this are you looking at the standings. He's saying he's being strategic. He's got to understand the travel schedule. He's got to understand the amount of games left that you're also trying to see. Are you ready for crunch time? But he also said if he was paying attention just to that, then he could have played yesterday if he could. So clearly he couldn't play yesterday, or maybe just because it's a back-to-back. So I thought the Lakers strategically were saying to themselves, okay, we're probably not going to get the win against the Milwaukee Bucks on the road. Let's make sure we get the Memphis win. It ended up working out to where LeBron got the rest. They still got both wins, and then AD got the rest today. Couple things, it's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting to me, and I know what Anthony Davis had to do yesterday because of the opponent. The opponent was a lot tougher, but there is a little bit of something there, right? LeBron yesterday, it's like Anthony Davis and the crew, it's like, take a day of rest, we got you. And they were just going to put up a fight. You're not guaranteed to beat the Milwaukee Bucks on the road. I wouldn't be surprised if they lost that game. The surprise yesterday was that they won, and it took double overtime. And then today, it was kind of like Bron telling AD, hey, why don't you give yourself a second? We don't play until Friday. I got this one. And then he comes out with the triple-double, and everybody else contributes. So, for what it's worth, that's got to be pretty positive. I got it this night. You got it this night. And then, obviously, when the dust settles, you're going to need both of those guys if you're going to go on any type of run. So LeBron gives AD a day of rest, and the Lakers handle business there. Okay. Let's get to more of these comments here. Got some stuff in the standings that I'm going to get to as well in just a second. See what we got here. Brandon, thank you again. Come playoffs, I don't think we see Cam, Max, or Hayes. Depends, right? Depends on the matchup. Depends on our guys in foul trouble. It depends on a lot of things. I think you'll see Cam. And even Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes, you just need more bodies in the playoffs, and you go from there. Francis got a quick question about 710 ESPN. Jorge, who's the producer, or not the producer, the board op on the Travis and Sliwa show. I know different show, but what happened to Jorge? Jorge's coming back. He had just had his second kid. He had a boy, so he's hanging with the family, and he's back on Monday. So hopefully that helps out there. Tevin, did you get the milk? OG here. For those who have been following this channel for a while, there's one time I was doing a post-game show, and I think I told a story, if I'm right. What did I tell? Did I tell a story? Was my girl picking up milk, or we didn't have milk? I don't even remember, but it was just a random story, and Tevin knows what I'm talking about. Tevin, if you remember, put it in there, because to be honest with you, I don't even remember. Kostas, thank you very much for the super. Kostas out in Greece. The team is starting to look consistent. Let's take it game by game. Hello, my brother from Athens, Greece. My brother. I agree with you. It's kind of enjoy where the Lakers are sitting right now. It's been a while since we've looked at the standings, and the Lakers are 9 games over 500. Lakers are playing really well. The problem with the Lakers is they're in the Western Conference, and your 7 and 8 seeds are 12 games over 500. Is it 12, or did Denver? No. Phoenix 13 games over 500 after beating Denver. So, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, I know we're you want everything to happen at once, but 9 games over 500. A couple of months ago, I just said you're crazy to think they're 17-7 in their last 24 games. Give credit where credit's due. They're playing some good basketball right now, but you don't have to jump to the, hey, let's go 6-0 on the road trip. They got a game coming up against Indiana. Go handle business against the Indiana Pacers. All right, what else we got here? Sean, what do you think about Nick Wright? What do you think about what Nick Wright said about we're better off playing the Nuggets early than later in the playoffs because Lakers would be fresher? Sean, I'm going to come back to this. I actually think it's a good topic. And for me, I like Nick Wright's takes for the most part. I think he's really good. So I listened to it. I heard it. He was on Colin's show, on Colin's podcast show, The Volume or whatever it is. But I did listen to it. I thought it was interesting. I'll come back to that. I think that's actually a good idea to come back to. I'll come back in a little bit on that. All right, let's get to a couple more of these comments, and then I want to walk through a couple other things here. You guys see Draymond Green get thrown out? What's Draymond doing? Guy got thrown out 4 minutes into the game where the Golden State Warriors are literally trying to save their season. That dude just... dude's all over the place. I got Aztecs over UConn. Just start like a prayer here. If you guys are on the chat and I'm praying, it's because SDSU has UConn tomorrow. Is this enough to get the 7th spot? All right, let's talk standings. People want to talk standings. Here I am. I don't know. What the hell am I talking about? Let's talk standings. People want standings, Al. Who's running this show? Share screen. Let's go NBA standings. Nobody else has this information. When I pull up the standings, people are like, what? Where'd you get that info? Yep. Look at this insider information. See what this is right here? It's got the record of every other team out there. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. All right, real quick. Here's where the Lakers are. Denver. Thanks for deciding in this game you want to rest Jamal Murray. Nuggets lost to the Phoenix Suns. This is actually a big deal. I did not see this coming at all. I just assumed that move these banners here. I don't know why I have so many banners here. I just assumed, to be honest with you, this was an L coming. And before the game, or a couple hours before the game, when I was actually doing the pregame show, Michael Funches, who produces the Laker broadcast, hits me with a text. He's like, yeah, they're not going to play Jamal Murray. I'm like, what? And I think Aaron Gordon was questionable as well. Phoenix, that's a big win for Phoenix. that's a really bad win for the Lakers. So even though the Lakers have been handling business, they're still 2 games behind the Phoenix Suns. Sacramento has fallen a little bit as well, so we'll see what happens there. I'm assuming, no, at this point, Phoenix, because they're up a half a game, that was a bad loss for the Lakers. So, where the West looks right now, you got the Denver Nuggets 51-22. Minnesota and OKC. OKC lost to the Houston Rockets. Badass game, by the way. I watched some of that game. You got some young stars on those teams. The Houston Rockets have won 10 games in a row. But Clippers got to win. Got lucky against Philly. Should have lost that game. So this is the entire standings where the Lakers sit right now. To catch Phoenix or catch Sacramento, you're still 2 games behind. Basically, Lakers just going to have to keep winning. Phoenix and Sacramento both have difficult schedules. But what does it really mean unless you handle business? Phoenix still has the toughest schedule left in the NBA. Sacramento has the 4th toughest schedule. So those teams can drop. The problem with Sacramento is they have the tiebreaker over the Lakers. Phoenix, we have the tiebreaker. So we could have got to within 1 game of that spot. That's not happening anymore. Like I said, because of the Phoenix Suns winning. So that's the latest on the standings right there. All right, there's a couple NBA things I want to get into real quick as well. Before I do so, give some love to our partner here. Thank you to Underdog Fantasy. I called Underdog Fantasy. I actually emailed them before the season. I said, hey, what do you think, huh? Think do a little partnership here? Use the code HoopsLA. If you guys have never played Daily Fantasy Sports, I'll explain to you guys. It's really, really easy how it works. You go to UnderdogFantasy.com or you just download the app. Once you create an account with an email address, you're going to put the code in HoopsLA. If you put the code HoopsLA, you'll get what they call a special offer. And, obviously the credit goes to Hoops Talk, but you get up to a deposit match of up to $100. So basically put $50 in, they'll give you house money $50 as well. They'll match whatever that you put in up to $100. The way I play, I do our pick'ems, I do pregame, I do NBA, and I already got my game mapped out for tomorrow. Only 2 games tomorrow. You got Boston at Atlanta, you got Milwaukee, New Orleans. I got Dame. The question's going to be, you want Dame higher or lower than 23.5 at New Orleans? I'm going to go lower. Dame's looked bad. To be honest with you, that guy hasn't looked that good, at least not on a consistent basis. I'll go Zion. Damn, Zion's got to go through Brook Lopez, Giannis. I'll go lower on both of these guys. We'll put $20 in. If I win, that's 3 times the money. I submit my pick, and that's it. So there's my picks for Underdog Fantasy. If you guys play DFS and you want to support the channel, that is one way to support the channel. All right, what do we got on some of these comments here? All right, let's play out the scenario. Everybody wants to talk about this. Agree, the best case scenario is Nuggets in Western Conference Finals. If Lakers is tired, can't control it. Would rather play Denver in round 1. That gives them the best shot. Let's talk about it. I think this is actually a good topic. Do you want Nuggets early in playoffs? I was not aware this was going to become a topic, but let's do it. This was a topic that came up. Again, Nick Wright was, I think, a guest on Colin Cowherd's show on The Volume, and he said, I got a wild proposition. He went into his point. His point basically was, if you want to play the Nuggets and you're the Lakers, play them early. That don't wait till the Western Conference Finals. I'll tell you what the positives and the negatives are. Let's assume Lakers get in the playoffs and they're the number 8 seed, and well, wait, doesn't Denver, they dropped back. Are they still number 1? Yeah, they're still number 1, even with the L today. But everybody's close, about a half game between all these teams. Let me give you guys the positives and the negatives if you get the Nuggets early or you get them late. Let's say Lakers end up the number 8 seed, Nuggets are number 1, and Lakers got the Nuggets in the first round. Here's what I would say would be the positives. The positives would be Lakers are playing some good basketball right now. They got a little bit of momentum. I know Nick Wright mentioned that there's more rest in round one rather than further in the playoffs. If you get them in the Western Conference Finals, basically it's an East Finals game one night, and then it's a West Finals game the following night. So that just kind of gives you an idea what that structure is like. All right, you want Denver early or you want them late? If you try to get Denver late in the Western Conference Finals, your hope is that anything can happen. You never know. Maybe a team upsets them. You just never know what can happen. The likelihood, the chances of something going wrong for Denver increases through more playoff games, right? Like, you never know what can happen. Here's what else can happen with Denver. They could just handle business. They could sweep the first team that they play, 4-1 versus the other team that they play, and are just sitting in the Western Conference Finals like, yeah, just tell us when you're done with your series. Where the Lakers, look, they're going to have a fight to put up. If they're going to get back to the Western Conference Finals, it's not going to be a walk in the park. There's a lot of good teams in the Western Conference, a lot of them. And I know a lot of people are just kind of, the Oklahoma City Thunder are nothing. OKC is going to, yes, they're young. Yes, the Lakers have played well against them, but I think the Thunder will also step up in the playoffs. I'll still pick the Lakers, but that doesn't mean that it can't be a long series, right? Right now, it's just looking. I guess it still could be Minnesota. I don't know what's going to happen with Minnesota if Karl Anthony Towns is there or not. Clearly give the Lakers the advantage there if Karl Anthony Towns is not there. It's kind of it's kind of tough to justify wanting Denver early. Like, the more I just kind of talk this out. The only thing that I would say is you want them early, like, hey, you're going to have to face them anyways. All right, let's take our chances. We're playing good ball. That's the Denver Nuggets. You got nothing to lose. Can you steal one in Denver? And then, obviously figure out some stuff there. But the more I kind of think about it, I'd probably take my chances further in the playoffs with them. I'd prefer not to play them early on because I think it's only a matter of time before you lose. Even if you gave Denver a really good fight, you're probably winning 2 games. To even force it to go 7, I think Denver's winning that series. So maybe increase the likelihood of something potentially. Denver runs into a problem or they have some trouble with other teams. Take your chances in the Western Conference Finals. That's what I would say to that. So I guess as I talk this through, I would disagree with Nick Wright on that take. I would say, no, I'll take let me face them. Let me avoid them as long as I can and see what happens through a playoff run. Maybe the Lakers get more time too where Vando is back. Maybe they got more of their Vando now has more games under him. He's feeling better. That's another thing to keep in mind. The wear and tear on LeBron and Anthony Davis and the rest of these players, I think that's going to be there either way. The question is just going to be, do you get some more opportunity in the playoffs to rest? You got less travel. There are some things that are advantageous to the Lakers. I'm going to read some of these comments. Actually, I'll be curious to see if people agree with me or if they disagree. Might as well get them and go early. Agree. The best case scenario is the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals. If Lakers is tired, can't control. I think I read that one a little bit earlier. So I think, for the most part, Denver's built different. Let's play them in the finals, Western Conference Finals. We'll be fresh off the play-in. I don't know about fresh. We'll be tired out of the play-in. Lakers going to have played. If they end up in the number 9 spot to get to the playoffs, they'll have played the extra game of the in-season tournament and then 2 extra games on top of that because of the playing tournament to obviously get to where they're getting to. I actually think, and I don't really have evidence to back this up, I do think if they play Denver, I do think they'll win a couple games. I think they'll lose the series, but I think they'll win a couple games. You can't play a team that close that many times and not freaking come out with a W. Now, good teams find ways to win. Bad teams find ways to lose. So that could be one of the sayings there. No idea. Can Vando really go? I have no idea. Okay. I want to spend I want to do this real quick on Draymond Green. I just want to do this real quick on Draymond Green because we're all kind of watching what's going on in the bottom of the standings. Houston won their 10th in a row. So while the Laker game was going on, I tuned in a little bit to where the heck is this? All right, NBA stores. Ladies and gentlemen, Draymond directed thumbs up. Before while the Laker game was going on, I have the NBA League Pass, so I'm like, literally, I need 7 TVs on a day like this. You had Golden State that was playing the Orlando Magic. You had Lakers playing the Memphis Grizzlies. You had Houston OKC going on. I don't know what was going on. I couldn't keep focus. I had basically volume on all 3, not literally. But anyways, the Western Conference, the bottom standings is very interesting. All of a sudden, Golden State win 2 in a row. They win at Miami, and they win at Orlando today. Why is that number 10 spot, that number 10 positioning important? Well, it's important because if Lakers stay number 9, they're playing either the Warriors or the Rockets. Rockets looked phenomenal today against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, let me say this. Rockets have won 10 games in a row. They're balling out. And it's not, how do I properly put this? No Shea Gilgeous. So just keep that one in mind. But I'm watching the game. Jalen Green is a freaking baller for the Houston Rockets. If the Lakers played the Rockets, I think they're going to win in that one playing game. It's Dylan Brooks again. It's Ime Udoka. They muddy the water, the Houston Rockets do. They try to make that game look as ugly as possible. But Jalen Green was a freaking stud tonight watching him play. It was a fun game actually watching those 2 young team plays. You got Jalen Williams on the other side for the Oklahoma City Thunder. But, yeah, the Rockets doing their thing. You had Golden State win. And I want to play you guys. I'm going to just read off a quote here from Steph Curry. Literally, the Golden State Warriors are trying to hold on to that number 10 spot, doing everything they possibly can to just keep this dynasty alive. Clay's going to be a free agent in the offseason. Who knows what they decide to do? And Draymond Green, 4 minutes in a game against the Orlando Magic, gets 2 technical fouls and is thrown out of the game. Steph Curry on Draymond Green ejection. All I'll say is we need him. He knows that. We all know that. So whatever it takes for him to be on the floor and available, that's what's going to happen. Steve Kerr on the ejection. Too bad. It was unfortunate. He deserved it. He will bounce back. So, I don't really know how to explain Draymond Green. I really don't. I mean, the dude is so important to the Golden State Warriors. So critical. I don't know how the Warriors won this game tonight. Orlando was bad and they shot bad. And, if you guys want to put in here, who would you rather play, the Golden State Warriors or the Houston Rockets if this was the number 10 seed? Because if that's how it ends up. But this dude just he can't control his emotions. It's not like he just got a technical foul and he's like, all right, you know what? All right, I get 2 of them. I got it. It was on the same play, the same possession, the same timeout that he got 2 Ts and he's out 4 minutes into the game. He's a wild card, but he's also so talented and so important for the Golden State Warriors. But, man, this dude, he cannot control his emotions if his life depended on it. So that's where we're sitting right now as far as the standings go. And like I said, Draymond ejected, but Golden State still wins. But the Rockets won as well. So those 2 teams are going back-to-back or are fighting head-to-head, which I think is actually pretty exciting. All right, let's see what else we got here. Darvin Ham on Anthony Davis's availability on Friday. We'll see how he's feeling tomorrow when he wakes up. I'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow when I wake up too. You know what I mean? Did you guys know this stat? You guys ready for a crazy, stupid, ridiculous stat that completely shocked me earlier today when I saw it? In the last 100 Laker games, do you know how many games Anthony Davis has played in? In the last 100 Los Angeles Lakers basketball games, do you know how many AD has played in? I'll let you guys put some comments. Just throw out a guess. Throw out a guess is how many of the last 100 games Anthony Davis has been a part of. I'll let a couple of these answers come in. I was shocked. I was very, very surprised what that number was. Damn, people know it. 96. 96. You are 100%. Somebody here guessed 94. Here's another 96. Yeah, you guys just know your basketball. Do you know that Anthony Davis has played in 96 of the last 100 basketball games that the Los Angeles Lakers have played? Here's a dude that has been criticized for a very, very long time. And by the way, I get it. I understand it. I understand why people were criticizing him. But here's a dude that was playing about 50% of the Lakers games over the last 3 seasons. That TNT crew started calling him street clothes, and it took off, and everybody started calling him street clothes. Every time he went to the floor, he grabbed something, it was like, oh my gosh, what injury is that? People made fun of the guy. He's soft. You can't do this. You can't do that. He's played 96 of the last 100 games. Anybody that was saying something and their the volume of their voice was really loud when things weren't going well, please do me a favor. Can you at least also just say the guy has played 96 of the last 100 games? That's incredible. He's on pace to play about 75. I think he's missed. This was the 5th game he's missed this year. He's on pace to play around 75 games this year. That's crazy. Maybe that stat's just crazy to me. Darvin Ham on his availability. We'll see how he's feeling tomorrow when he wakes up. Okay, Lakers got the Indiana Pacers coming up on Friday. 41-33 are the Indiana Pacers. That's where they're sitting. I want to see what the final score was earlier today. So Indiana, another important game for them. They're trying to stay out of the play-in. I think they're a half game or 1 game in front of Miami for avoiding the play-in. So all these games are obviously incredibly important for them as well. The Pacers, I want to see 125-99. They lost at Chicago today. So they'll be coming off a loss. The Pacers, kind of a weird team, right? They lost to the Lakers, but they dropped 146. They turned back the next day on a second of a back-to-back and were excellent against the Los Angeles Clippers. I think the question for them is just going to be Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton. How do those two guys play? They got a really good bench. I think it's going to be a tough game. It's the toughest game remaining on their road trip. This is it. This is the toughest game remaining on their road trip. So how they do in this game, obviously, I think will say a lot. And it could really potentially set the tone of, hey, that's 6 in a row. Can they get to 7, 8, 9? Who knows? But this is the one where it stops that, momentum for a quick second, or, wow, that's another mountain that the Lakers just climbed to get what they got to. All right, let's see a couple more comments here. And AD is still not AD is still not in the defensive player of the year conversation. I think he's 3rd right now. I think he's 3rd right now in defensive player of the year. AD playing well enough this year to rebuild his value so we can do what we always do and trade for the most dominant center in the league this summer. AD to Philly, the best Morey will get for Embiid. I don't think the Sixers are trading anybody, and I don't think the Lakers are trading anybody. I don't. Got a lot of people here that are giving some love to my Aztecs for tomorrow. Yeah, Lakers got some work to do, or SDSU's got some work to do. Might as well just face them now. Let's just face UConn now. Take our chances. Let's take our chances. Okay, Laker fans. Here's what we got going on the next couple of days. Got my radio show tomorrow. Obviously, I'll do a T-Raj on 710 ESPN. That's going to start at 10 a.m. So if you guys would like to tune into that. I'm going to do something tomorrow. I don't know when AK is going to post it, but Andy Kamenitsky, who does also, I work with him at 710 ESPN. He also does Locked On Lakers here on YouTube. Him and I are supposed to get together tomorrow at some point and record something, so you can keep an eye out for that. Sammy, who's in the background grinding away, doing what he does, is going to put together a preview game tomorrow night. Probably around 7, 8 o'clock. We'll have a preview up of the Lakers taking on the Indiana Pacers. We want to get some updates on. I like waiting on those because I want to see what happens in the NBA, and then also I want to just get a little bit of status report of what's going on with everybody's health. So that's what we got going on the next couple of days. I'll be back with you guys on Friday night after the Lakers play the Indiana Pacers. So we'll be doing that show live streaming. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed to the channel. And let's see if SCSU can kind of squeeze one in real quick, huh? Grab one of those SCSU ones real quick. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a good rest of your night. Thanks, Laker fans.